Yes, yes. Welcome in again, everyone. It's the One Burner Bachelor, 37 steps up high above the city on a beautiful evening. Let's get right to it. Maybe you can already hear this sizzling away in our steamed out, bacteria-free saute pan. I've got a couple of requests for a stir fry. To me, a stir fry is kind of a saute or a scampi just cooked at a higher temperature, and things cook at a higher heat for a less amount of time. That's why a lot of times your chicken stir fry, your beef stir fry, or even your shrimp stir fry are meats, and the shrimp cook really fast. And the chicken's usually cut thin and the beef is cut thin to keep it from not only becoming overdone and too chewy, but from taking too long to cook. And the best way I know of to speed things up and kind of create a stir fry in my saute pan is to add some of our creamy, buttery spread country premium. So now that is already going in our hot pan, which this is a time where we do want our buttery oily mix to brown up and continue to cook and add to our dish. Now, as luck would have it, our country creamy butter, let me just put this down and crank the heat up as high as it'll go here, has cooled down the saute pan and taken the sizzle out of it. But it'll come back. It'll get there. So we're going to continue to stir fry. What we have here is our Polska kielbasa made with pork, turkey, and beef. We cut those all at an angle around the bias, and we got those nice, and the pan already hot, and we got them already started. And I was just kind of thinking that adding that butter would keep things sizzling and keep things fired up because the pan was so hot. Well, it wasn't as so hot as I thought it would be. So it's cranked up now. It's going to take it a bit to get back to temperature again, and we're going to let the kielbasa and those onions start sizzling and simmering together, and we'll take it from there. The One Burner Bachelor, still learning. We'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Okay, we're back. Oh, it took a couple extra minutes, but now I bet you can hear it now if I'm quiet and that train goes by. The sizzling going on in there. The key here to get that crisping up sooner definitely would have been to add less of our buttery spread. But I didn't want to dump anything out of the pan because that would be dumping out flavor. So I just let things steam away and do what they needed to do for a little bit longer. Now you see the moisture has steamed away and cooked away and worked itself into the Polska kielbasa and that fresh onion. So we're going to add our next ingredient right now, and that is a 65-cent can of original diced tomatoes with green chilies from Clover Valley. Angelo and I had a little private get-together before we started today. He helped me get this can open and one other one. Hint, hint, that there will be at least one more ingredient going into our dish. So, yes, again, that has lowered the temperature in our pan, which we would expect it to. So we've actually turned the temperature back a little bit to take a little pressure off our single burner stove. Because we're in no rush, we're now going to let this simmer again, get all these flavors melding. And as I mentioned, we have at least one more ingredient that we're going to add to our, Polska kielbasa stir fry, for lack of a better title. But that's what we're doing. Okay, it's beautiful out, 37 steps up high above the city. Angelo's out there playing somewhere. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back. Okay, yes, we're back. And you can see a great amount of the moisture from those tomatoes flavored with the jalapenos to add to our Polska kielbasa and our onion has started to steam away. Things are bubbling again, which means flavors are being shared and things are happening. So our next ingredient, yep, as promised from our last episode or our very recent episode, I had some broccoli, mushrooms, and onions already flavored off nice that I put aside because I didn't need all of them, and I threatened / promised to use them again. So that's what we're doing right now. And I didn't add them in right away with the raw onion or with the Polska kielbasa to get things started because they were already softened up and flavored up and perfect yesterday. They're already happy. Now all they need to do is be brought back to that at least 165 or that bubbling that we like to be extra safe and meld in with these flavors. Look at the color they're adding, my brand new camera. Thank you, Victor from Boost Mobile. Yikes. A nice chunk of this has your name on it for supper. We got some new to-go packages so we can pack some of this up and bring it to some of my supporters and commenters that are very close by. Okay, we're still not done adding. But there it is now. The Polska kielbasa with first some fresh onion sauteed with it or stir-fried with it. Just saute, I think, in higher heat. And then the can of flavored diced tomatoes. And now what was left from last night's broccoli, mushrooms, and onions has been mixed in there with it. And we're not done yet. But for now, we're going to let that get back to temperature. And let it start to simmer. And all those flavors continue to mix together. Okay, everyone. We'll be back for One Burner Bachelor. Okay, yes, we're back. Smell-o-vision, where are you? This is unbelievable. But it's not done yet. Here I am, I'm looking at how busy it is in there and how happy everything is and how the juice is doing its thing and it needs something to pull it together. So what are we going with? One of my favorites, sauerkraut. Yep, right there, 65-cent clover leaf can of sauerkraut. I put it off to the side here because I wasn't sure if I'm going to add the whole can or not to it. But I'm definitely going to add enough of it to get that incorporating. And as we learned before, not only does that add awesome flavor, but it will cook away some. And even though it's taking up quite a bit of space in the pan, we're actually going to add a little bit more right now. Now everything here is fully cooked. Even the sauerkraut is obviously fully cooked, but it just needs to get brought up to temperature here to be an enjoyable part of this dish. And I think that's going to be enough of the sauerkraut for now. So that was probably half the can, not with a lot of the juice. We have the option to add more if we need to. And right now, Texas Pete hot sauce. This was only $1, but that's just another something that guarantees us kicking it up. So okay, the smell is awesome. It's One Burner Bachelor. We're 37 steps up high above the city on a beautiful summer day. Thank you, everyone. My brand new tongs. My sauerkraut I'll use again for something else. Oh, this is still just bubbling away. So I guess my stir fry is just kind of a fancy saute or kind of a fancy scampi. You get a few things cooking in a hotter temperature than usual. But if you use the right ingredients, you can still kind of play around with it and keep it hot, keep it bubbling, but make it the way you want it. Okay, that'll do it for this episode of the One Burner Bachelor. 37 steps up high above the city. Angelo's out there playing somewhere. Maybe we'll see him on the next episode. Thanks again, everyone.